right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into the absolutely incredible life of Meghnad Saha. Now, this is a story that's nothing short of epic. We're talking about a scientist for sure, but also an architect of modern India. Let's get right into it.
I mean, just think about that question for a second. This isn't just some dramatic opener. For Meghnad Saha, this was his actual life. His journey literally started from nothing and ended up among the stars.
Exactly. Because as you're about to see, decoding the secrets of the cosmos, for Saha, that was kind of just the warm-up act. His real mission? Well, it was even bigger.
So first things first, let's get a handle on the man himself. His life was just this series of mind-blowing achievements in fields that seem worlds apart.
The contrast here is just staggering. On one hand, you have a boy born in a tiny village to a shopkeeper who could barely afford his education. It took a ton of persuasion and help from others just to keep him in school. But on the other hand, you have this brilliant mind who ends up at Presidency College in Calcutta studying right alongside and even a year ahead of some of the biggest names in Indian history. It's just an unbelievable leap.
And this quote, "This is the key to everything about Meghnad Saha." Seriously, this wasn't just some idea he had. This was the engine driving him. He was totally convinced that science wasn't just for dusty books. It was the single most powerful tool for rebuilding a nation. Okay, so before he could build a nation, he first had to figure out the universe. And that brings us to his most famous piece of scientific work.
You have to remember, back then, stars were a huge mystery. We could see them, sure, but what were they actually made of? How did they work? Astronomers had all this data, but no single theory that could explain what was going on inside these giant celestial furnaces.
So how did he crack the code? Well, Saha was a voracious reader, and he was devouring all the latest German research on star temperatures. And while reading one key paper, he has this incredible flash of insight. Everyone was missing a piece of the puzzle. He realized they needed a new variable. Basically the amount of energy it takes to knock an electron off an atom. He called it the ionization potential. And with that, all the dots connected, leading him to his breakthrough formula.
His formula was, and this is no exaggeration, revolutionary. For the very first time, scientists could look at the light from a star millions of miles away and figure out its exact temperature and what it was made of. It was like he invented a celestial thermometer. This single equation became a cornerstone of modern astrophysics.
And you better believe the world noticed. At just 34 years old, Meghnad Saha was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of London. That's one of the highest honors a scientist can get. The boy from that small village was now standing shoulder to shoulder with the giants of science.
But remember that quote, his core belief? For Saha, personal awards were never the point. He almost immediately turned his attention to a much, much bigger project.
He just knew that one brilliant person wasn't going to cut it. What India needed was the whole ecosystem, the institutions, the universities, a real culture of research to solve its massive problems. So he put on a new hat. He became a builder.
And the man was tireless. He didn't just join places, he built them. At Allahabad University, he literally created a research department from the ground up. He was a major force in getting the National Academy of Sciences off the ground. And get this, when nuclear fission was discovered, he immediately started India's first master's program in it and built a cyclotron. That's a massive undertaking in the 1940s with almost no money. Every move was about laying the foundation for India's scientific future.
And he wasn't just talking to other scientists. Nope. He started this journal to take the big ideas, like river planning, industrial development, directly to the public and to the policymakers. He was dragging science right into the center of the national conversation.
This deep passion for applying science to real-world problems eventually led him to a place most scientists would never, ever dream of going. Politics. You know, for Saha, this was the most logical step in the world. After India's independence, he was watching all these national projects get tangled up in politics and inefficiency. And he thought, wait a minute, decisions that affect millions of people should be based on data and logic. So he decided the best place to make that argument was from inside Parliament itself. And look at this list.
As an independent member of parliament, the range of topics he took on is just incredible. He wasn't some one-issue politician. He brought a sharp, scientific, data-first approach to everything, from flood control and atomic energy to the railway budget. He prepared for these debates with the same intensity he brought to his physics research.
It's like his brain was operating on two different planes at the same time. On one side, he's the physicist unlocking the chemistry of stars. On the other, he's the reformer on national planning committees. He even chaired the calendar reform committee. And get this, he meticulously studied 30 different calendars used all across India just to create one single unified scientific calendar for the country. I mean, who does that? Meghnad Saha did.
So when you try to wrap your head around a life this huge and varied, where do you even start? What is his ultimate legacy?
The truth is, his legacy isn't just one thing, it's at least 5. He was the world-class physicist who gave us the Saha ionization formula. He was the teacher who inspired generations of students. He was the builder who founded the institutions that still power Indian science today. He was the MP who fought for logic in policymaking. And he was the reformer who truly believed that science could build a better society for everyone. And let's not forget, none of this was easy. He was fighting for funding, battling bureaucracy, and dealing with scarce resources at pretty much every single stage of his career. So his achievements weren't just brilliant, they were hard-won. They were absolutely monumental.
Which really leaves us with a final question to chew on. Saha's whole life was a powerful argument that scientific thinking isn't just for the lab. It's essential for building a nation, especially in the halls of power. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our own time, facing our own complex challenges, what is the role of science in our public life today?